Hi, this is John Hoeschele, President of the Cortland Rural Cemetery. I'm sharing with you today a very brief presentation or a slideshow which demonstrates we've made some good progress over the course of the summer of 2013, in writing some headstones that have fallen over the years. So if you can bear with me, I'll take you through that process. Thanks. Okay, so the first thing we want to emphasize is that fallen headstones are not very nice to look at, and of course they're also dangerous for visitors and staff. That's the reason why we basically undertake this process. The second thing I want to point out is these markers have actually not fallen as a result of vandalism or any malicious behavior as far as we know. We believe they've fallen because of the natural frost cycle and movements in the ground. Also, one of the things that happens is water can accumulate between a headstone and its foundation, and when that happens, in the wintertime it can freeze and basically dislodge the the monument from its foundation. It acts as basically like an ice wedge, and it knocks it off its footing. So the other thing I want to emphasize is that we had a great deal of help and assistance from Ace Prentice Jr., who's one of our staffers. So we want to thank him and congratulate him on a job well done. He also had some great assistance from Rob Dittman and Justin Tulin, who are also groundskeepers at the cemetery. I would also want to emphasize that we've got a great deal of assistance in this project from some folks at the City of Cortland Wastewater Treatment Facility, specifically Ed Poole and John O'Connell. Came out during the course of a day and with a backhoe and did a great job helping us put these headstones back on their foundation. So, and last but not least, before I get to the photographs, is I want to thank Board of Trustee member Kathy Sinkata, who actually took those photographs and took time out of her day to come up and shoot and document this process. And I think you'll find the results are pretty neat. Thanks. So I thought it would be a fitting way to begin the photographs by showing you basically a before and after images. Basically on the left-hand side here you can see an angel that was knocked down, we believe, during a windstorm. A tree nearby, basically a sizable tree, fell down, and we believe probably took the angel down with it. And of course she's been leaning up against this monument for probably 3 or 4 years now, as far as we can tell, perhaps even a little bit longer. And it's kind of a sad thing to look at, obviously, if you're driving through the cemetery, but it's also kind of a safety hazard. So obviously we just wanted to take care of that, and she's just one of several examples you're going to see. So we restored her on the right-hand side to her perch, which is, I think, a fitting metaphor for this whole process. We're obviously trying very hard at the cemetery recently, especially, to try and overcome some of the major challenges that we face financially, etc., and to be able to restore an angel to her place atop a monument of this size and magnitude is, I think, a fitting metaphor, and it's just impressive and kind of inspiring, I think. So again, this is before and after, and I think one of our most compelling before and after images. But I'm going to show you some examples of some other monuments that have fallen over the years as well. And here are some other examples of monuments that have fallen throughout the cemetery. Obviously, there are different sizes and different configurations and different styles of monuments, but in any case, wherever they fall, they're not very attractive to look at, and again, they pose problems to people who are visiting the cemetery, trying to get to their loved ones' graves. And it's also dangerous for folks who work in the cemetery, whether they're cutting with lawn equipment or using weed eaters or just doing regular surface throughout the cemetery. So again, we went through and basically picked the worst culprits or the most egregious examples. We didn't get all of them this year, but we did get what we believe are the first and worst examples of monuments needing repair. And here are just another handful of examples. I think we did 11 or 12 in the process of doing this on this particular day. So next I'm going to show you a little bit of some examples of the process itself. Basically, the folks from the water treatment plant visited, as I said, for a day. They brought a backhoe in, and what you do is you strap a nylon strap to it, and you to the fallen monument, and you secure it as best as you can. and you kind of slowly jockey the monument into position. You got to take a great deal of time and care in order to do this safely and to do a good job of restoring them at the right level and the right angle and all those kinds of aesthetics. So here's one that's going in position. Here's another. It looks a little precarious, but in fact these guys have a pretty good grip on how it's being done, and they're pretty strategic about how they place the backhoe and how they strap the nylon strap on. Here's another example. In this one, I like to point out that there's you can see little beads of an adhesive, which is used for gluing rock to rock. Essentially, it's probably a cement adhesive, but it helps to secure the monuments into place, and hopefully it'll help deter and push away water, so we don't have the same problem again immediately. Here's another example. And here's yet another example. You can see some dirt in the background behind the where the monument was being lifted. So we'll obviously have to do some reseeding as a result of this, but we think that's work that's well worth doing in order to get these guys back into position. And I'm particularly fond of this image because it's got this distant quality to it with the blue sky in the background. Here an obelisk is being returned to its position. This is actually towards the front of the cemetery, kind of facing Tompkins Street. And here are some additional after images. Basically now we can see them, several of the markers back in position, and it makes a world of difference compared to what they look like beforehand. So again, I want to thank again the staff for doing its job. The City of Cortland Water Treatment Plant, I want to thank them again for their participation in this process. We didn't get them all, as I mentioned before, but we'll get more of them in the future as time goes on. And I also want to thank you again for watching this. I know this cemetery presentations are kind of an arcane interest, but I appreciate anybody and everybody who takes the time to watch these presentations to learn more about the cemetery and the challenges that we face, and for taking time out of your day to understand what we go through. And again, this is John Hoeschele from the Cortland Rural Cemetery Board of Trustees. Thanks for your time again today, and look forward to talking to you again soon.